A message from Equinoxe television.
Hi viewers, thank you so much for joining us on this other edition of the news on Equinoxe television tonight. Our major stories: shock, consternation in Bipanda, precisely at Double Barrel. The Double Barrel market here in Douala, as 3 children, all from the same family, die after consuming porridge bananas or banan malaxe cooked by their elder sister. It is unclear if the children were poisoned before, during or after the meal. The incident comes to add to the numerous cases of food poisoning or food intoxication happening recently in homes across the national territory. We still remember 6 people died of food poisoning recently in the East region and also in Edea. We will take you to the family residence in Bipanda where it all happened in this news edition. Plus, tomorrow, August 31, 2024, Ilekam will close its doors for registration on electoral lists. Cameroonians, especially in Douala, continue to flood Ilekam registration booths or offices. But why wait for last minute? Details coming up next, so stay with us. Welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for the confidence. On a rather sad note, to begin this edition of the news, shock and consternation, even confusion, as a family lost 3 children after they consumed porridge bananas or banan malaxe, which was prepared by their elder sister. It is still unclear whether the children were poisoned or it was food intoxication. Let's now go to Bipanda, where it happened, with Cedric Chakutu.
Shocked and devastated, Nina can't believe the situation she's facing. She lost her 2 children, Otiel and Glory, aged between 4 and 8-year-old respectively. According to initial reports, they had just eaten a meal. The tragedy occurred in Bipanda Dubebal Market in the Douala 5 subdivision. At around 3 p.m., the elder sister called her father, telling him that her junior brother is not feeling fine.
C'est là où le père monte, il prend l'enfant, il descend avec l'enfant, il essaie un peu de le faire mouvoir, ça ne va pas toujours.
The father quickly tried to reanimate the child but couldn't. He then went to the hospital for a first aid, but unfortunately the boy died.
Le médecin là-bas a essayé de le mouvoir aussi de sa manière.
Some hours later, he was announced that the elder sister also died.
Ce qui suit, c'est-à-dire que la fille, parce que le premier était le garçon, la fille aussi a commencé à avoir les vomissements.
The meal cooked the day before by the elder sister was not only eaten by the victims. The food was cooked days before, so they just heated the food and consumed it the next day.
Ils ont réchauffé le repas.
The whole family, even the victims, consumed the food, but we don't know how only 2 of them died. The 2 passed away 5 days after their return from holidays and a few days before the next academic year. The family, in shock, are awaiting to know what happened after investigations launched by the Regional Division of the Littoral Judicial Police would have provided answers.
Our sincere condolences to the bereaved family. Meantime, an 18-year-old boy was reportedly stabbed to death by his friend that was in the Bonangang neighborhood in the Douala 5 subdivision, and that incident came to bring to light the high rate of insecurity in that area. Let's now go to Bonangang with Innocent Aze.
Bonangang is one of the localities in the Douala 5 subdivision where insecurity has instated itself. Killing of an 18-year-old young man, Wilson Penji Munga, on Tuesday by another, alleged to be under the influence of narcotics, was the brim of insecurity in the neighborhood. According to the victim's mother, Wilson was stabbed last Saturday for protecting his friends, the neighbor's children, who were being aggressed by the hoodlum with a machete. He had promised Wilson death for giving him a punch in the face.
Il dit que je suis venu pour tuer Wilson. Je vais le tuer.
On Tuesday, the fight resurfaced between Wilson and the hoodlum who fulfilled his evil death promise. I went out and received a call 30 minutes after that the young man engaged a fight with Wilson and stabbed him twice in the back with a dagger. My son rushed inside and sat on the chair bleeding. He screamed for help. His elder brother carried him to the hospital, but he had given up the ghost. The suspected murderer was later arrested by elements of the 12th District Police who had received complaints about the suspect. He was transferred to the New Bell Central Prison. Wilson's corpse was removed from the morgue on Friday to be laid to rest this Saturday in his native Banja village in the Upper Camp division of the West region. Security and municipal authorities in the Douala 5 subdivision have been implored by the population to step up the fight against insecurity and consumption of narcotics in the municipality, which have jeopardized lives.
And now we told you in the headlines that voter registration would end tomorrow. That would be on August 31 as Eleka will close its doors for registration on electoral list. Cameroonians, especially in Douala, continue to flood Eleka registration booths. But why have they been waiting for the last minute? Innocent Azem made a stopover at some registration centers here in the city of Douala and compiled this report for the news.
Saturday, August 31st is already near. Registration of citizens on the electoral list will end. In the city of Douala, many who had not exercised their civic duty now overcrowd Elekam registration post to do so. In Bonamusa, the Douala 5 subdivision, precisely around the Santa Barbara roundabout, influx of people queued up in long lines for this process. Naomi says the process was slow with just one registration kit for over 500 people. People keep coming. They should hasten up because we have been waiting for long. In Logbaba Douala 3 subdivision, the situation is similar. Ewonjo Silva is at the Elekam post to register for her first time. She was motivated by her peers who asked her what she has done to bring change in Cameroon when she complains of hardship.
De choisir quelqu'un qui peut-être demain ou après-demain va changer notre situation.
J'ai pu m'inscrire à 13h. I just registered. It was not easy. Many are complaining the registration process is slow, but they have to nurse patience for their turn to be eligible to vote next year. Our next stop was in New Bell, Douala 2 subdivision. There, denizens were also standing in a long line.
This is my first time. I came to register. I want to vote, so I want to change. Let's try other people and see.
We asked the city dwellers why they chose to have their names registered days to the deadline.
It's just that I've not been having time, that's why I'm late. So I'm just paying the price of being late.
Je suis étudiante et j'étais occupée. C'est le manque de temps qui nous pousse à venir à la dernière minute.
Those who had not registered promised to brave the sun and rain to do so, saying they have no choice.
It is somewhat the same situation in Boya in the southwest region, where some youths, they say they are a group of youths from the new generation of 8 FACO elites, have left no stone unturned. They have been going around neighborhoods sensitizing the population of Boya and its environs on the necessity to have their names registered for next year's elections. Lucy Liengu is here now, takes us to Boya.
Despite the effects of the Anglophone crisis, citizens in Boya's southwest region have braved the odds to register their names on the electoral list. Here at the My 17 Park, last-minute registration on the electoral roll is gaining steam.
Actually, it's my first time of doing so, and I encourage everyone, every youth, to make sure we take on responsibility to register for this election, so we can determine the outcome of our country. They're sitting behind and complaining left and right.
And I have to vote for good changes. And if there's any amelioration, they can ameliorate it for for the citizens to feel free and enjoy their country.
Calling on all to register massively on electoral list, vibrant youth of the new generation of FACO elite from the month of May launched campaigns.
We are youths that we have decided to come together to encourage Cameroonians, especially the young people around FACO and Buea in particular, to partake in electoral processes. So what motivated us to start this process from the beginning is that we realized that there are a lot of youth shying away from politics, and it has become like something for the old people. And seeing your peers partaking in activities like this gives you the courage to also want to.
Away from Buea, in Ezeka, Nyong and Kele division, opposition political parties have been on street and market urging people to register, reminding them of their responsibility and rights as citizens to possess a voter's card.
Voilà pourquoi nous sommes sortis. Nous sommes jusqu'à samedi.
While registration ends on the 31st of August 2024, election agents in Ezeka call on the population to seize the opportunity and ensure their eligibility to vote come 2025.
We will be talking more on that in the second part of the news. In other news, the former general director of the Cameroon Radio and Television CRTV has been slammed a 20-year prison sentence in addition to the 12 years he is already serving. At the end of the hearing on August 28, 2024, the Special Criminal Court delivered its verdict. On the other hand, Jean-Baptiste Ngini Farm, former Director General of the Cameroon Petroleum Depots Company (SDP), has regained his freedom after spending 15 years in prison. Babila Jonathan reports.
The detention period of the Cameroon Radio Television CRTV former General Manager Amadu Vami has been prolonged by 20 more years. It is the substance of a 28 August 2024 verdict of the Special Criminal Court. The verdict is described as shameful by one of the lawyers of Amadu Vami.
It is so awful for our country. It is so extraordinary. Our justice is out with shame. We must know that all the cases are political in Cameroon because all the powers are in the hand of one person who has judiciary power, political power, and what else? All the powers, political and legislative. And this is the reality of our days in this Cameroonian life. Somebody, if he has this political power, can put you and your son and your grandma in power and in jail.
It is, however, not the end of the matter.
We will appeal. We will go to the Supreme Court. We will go maybe in some international jurisdiction further, because it is not the end of this sad and shameful history of Vami case.
Amadu Vami was General Manager of the Cameroon Radio Television CRTV from 2005 to 2016.
Now we talk sports. The under-20 women's team challenged their Mexican counterparts on Saturday. That would be tomorrow as the FIFA under-20 Women's World Cup kicks off. Meanwhile, Team Cameroon has a chance of getting a bronze medal in the minus 65 kilogram para taekwondo discipline after Darcy Marie Antoinette qualified for the quarterfinals at the ongoing Paralympics in France. Smart Jikan Gabriel has details of those stories and more in our weekend sports package.
Team Cameroon's Darcy Marie Antoinette is now the first to qualify for the quarterfinals of the para-taekwondo competition. Darcy Marie Antoinette defeated Sewiskaya Elena in the minus 65 kilograms event. Her success came after a failed day one for Team Cameroon as Guylienne Chemonnier Tukam lost to reigning champion Espinoza Carranza 10 to 30 points in the minus 47 kilograms of para-taekwondo. The under-20 women's football team has intensified its preparation in Bogota, Colombia, ahead of the start of the under-20 FIFA World Cup. The team of coach Hassan Bala for the past days have been into many exercises to fine-tune their tactics. It's Cameroon's under-20 women's team's first participation at the tournament, and they begin their campaign against Mexico this Saturday. It will be 9 p.m. in Cameroon and 3 p.m. in Bogota. Still in women's football, 4 clubs will be contesting for a place in the Women's Super League next football season. Bimal FC, Vision FC, Cyclone FC and Banswa SA are the clubs in contention to get a place for the Super League next football season. In basketball, the Under-18 Afro-Basket tournament kicks off this weekend in Pretoria, South Africa. South Africa will host the event in both the women's and men's categories. The women's category starts this Sunday with the Under-18 women's national basketball selection to challenge their Tunisian counterparts. Cameroon will later take on host South Africa and Rwanda in their last group games. The men's under-18 national basketball team will get into the competition on Tuesday, September 3rd, and will start their campaign against Cote d'Ivoire before challenging Mali and later Senegal.
Thanks, Matt. That report brings us to the end of the first part of the news. Let's now move on to talking points. You don't want to go anywhere. Welcome back, viewers. Our guest tonight is Ngale Mahenye. He is a civil society actor and one of the leading members of the new generation of FACO elites. Recently, they have been moving around the southwest region, especially the FACO division, mobilizing the youth and also the elderly to get involved in politics and also get their names registered on the electoral list. Thank you so much, Ngale Mahenye, for accepting to talk to us on Equinoxe tonight. Now, as youth or young people in the southwest, FACO division precisely, collaborating with Elecam, you went around encouraging people to register. What really is your push factor? Can you tell us?
No, for a very long time, young Cameroonians have thought that the political process belongs to the elderly. And generally you get the slogan, you are leaders of tomorrow. You know, we think that that's a wrong maxim, and as such it must be changed. For example, the Electoral Code provides that at the age of 23 years, you can be a parliamentarian. But in our community, in our society, at 23, most of us are still struggling to get degrees, to get our feet on the ground, living with our parents, you know. We are calling on young Cameroonians to know what the law says, to know the opportunities that are open for them in the present electoral system, you know. We want young Cameroonians to know that they are leaders of today. At age 20, you can vote. Most people don't know. And shockingly, in the last 4 months, I've seen people 18 and above who want to come and register. And at the point where I tell them that, no, you know what, just hold on. In a few years, you'll be ready to register. Our motivation is this. We think that young Cameroonians do not know what's in there for them. And so we want to bring them to light, tell them that, hey man, you know what, at this age you can be able to do this, you can be able to get involved as a municipal councillor, you can be a parliamentarian, you can be a mayor, why not? It's high time that our youth and our brothers know what's in the package for them.
Now, can you also let us know for how long you have been on the field and what has been the response from the prospective voters so far, Mr. Ngale?
Practically, we have been in the field now for, I'll say, 4 months. Our first official campaign was launched in May with the people of Boya Town. We took a lead camp there and encouraged our brothers. You should know that our association is basically FACO indigents. So our areas of focus have been FACO as a whole. We've moved from Boya Town to Idinao to Limbe. But yeah, practically we started in May, and we have been able to touch the 4 corners of FACO division since then. the response has not been easy. You know, sometimes you go into some areas and people are like, oh, I mean, we're going to vote, we're going to register, our cards will not come. That's one of the greatest challenge that we have had. People who don't think that the cards will come because maybe those who had registered before are complaining that their voters' cards are not out. So we have been out for 4 months, and yes, we've registered quite a good number. We are running to 1,000 plus registered within FACO due to our efforts, and we think that this is a positive move, hoping that before elections we could have more than 1,000. Why not?
And we might want to also know some of the strategies you guys have been using on the field, considering that many Cameroonians have somehow already lost faith in having results through the ballot box.
Now, one of the things that we have been able to do is that we get people within communities, mobilizers, whom the people have faith in, you know, to do the groundwork for us. If we go to Boyatown, for example, we get somebody within Boyatown whom we know the people are going to respect, people are going to adhere to, and we set them to do the groundwork for us. And this has worked for us like magic. All the areas we have been to, we've had people who are responding like fire. Like, you know, you get into a community and you know, people are like, oh, we have been waiting for you. A case in point was at the toll gate in Tico. I mean, we went there twice. The first day we went, the chief of the community came out and he was so happy to have us. We think that because we use people within that community to talk to their peers. And we also, as a team, make sure that we go down to the field. Now, when you see young people coming your way and they stop you, for example, and say, hey, man, we think that you should get registered on the electoral list. We're young people, we're young persons like you. We see the response that they give. We think that if we were maybe older, we will not get this response. We went to Equinoxe now, and also the response there was wonderful. What we have been able to do is that we try to track the kind of persons who come to register. And trust me, 20 to 35, that's the age range we have been getting. And we are happy because we think that they are adhering to the call of fellow young Cameroonians. And they are asking us to channel this worry to elections Cameroon. They want their cards. They want their cards. They want to be able to vote when the time comes. So as a strategy for us, it's just young people talking to young people. And this has worked for us like magic.
And now, what about difficulties or some obstacles on the field? You have been working, or you've been on the field in Boya. We know so many stumbling blocks you could have. Did you have any while struggling to get people registered? If yes, how did you surmount them?
You know, Cameroon is a very nice country. It's nice because, like we always say in the quarters, if they explain Cameroon to you and you understand, then it means they did not explain it to you well. Every other Cameroonian seems to have lost faith in the electoral process. So when you go to some communities, some people will be like, when we vote, what's going to change? You know, when we vote, our cards will not come out. How we are sure that the cards are going to come out? We've been to some communities that I would not like to mention, but when you go to Zone A, the people in Zone B will tell you, no, we are not going to register in Zone A. If you want us to register, you must come to Zone B. You know, so what we have been able to do is that we, in such communities, we try to beckon Elekam to join us in another, to come to the other area, so that we can get as many voters as possible. We go somewhere and when they say, hey, maybe where you brought the Elekam team is a little bit far, we plan another visit to the same community and maybe take the Elekam post closer to the people. And the good thing is that we have had communities which call us, like those who know us personally and my team members, they're like, hey Mola, I got a call from Zone A or Zone B, you know, can you guys please bring your team there so that we can register? The other challenge that we've had is that we are in a crisis hit zone, and some of the areas that we wanted to visit, we could not, because people in those areas are scared to go out, you know. Someone doesn't want to leave his house and goes out there and then he thinks that he's going to be a target. And in such communities, we try to get the nearest possible safe zone where these persons can register. Let's take a case in point, like we had to be in Moya sometime last week, but the feedback we got from the community was that they were kind of scared. So we tried to move away from Moya, coming towards mile 17, which is a little safer, so that we could get people registered. And yes, the turnout has been good at mile 17. We think people have moved from different communities and are there to register. These are the strategies that we had to use to get as many voters registered or potential voters as possible on the electoral list.
Okay, Molangale, you just mentioned insecurity, and I was about talking about that. Boya, with all its security issues, was that not somehow a deterrent to your activities of getting people registered?
I mentioned Boya is not the safest place there is, but we are home. And like I mentioned earlier, our team is predominantly made of Fako indigents, you know. If we are home and we cannot do this, where else do we do it? If we run away from our home, who's going to do it for us? You know, like Plato puts it, one of the greatest prizes you're going to pay for apathy in public affairs is that you're going to be ruled by evil men. In Cameroon, we have seen all sorts of complaints. People are complaining, oh, we don't like leader A or leader B or leader C is not doing what it's supposed to do. How do you want to change that? You have to change that by going to the ballot. You know, and like J.F. Kennedy says, do not always ask what your country has done for you. Ask yourself what you can do for your country. We think that we are putting our lives on the line to make sure that we get a better country. We want to be like what Mahatma Gandhi says, be the change that you want to see. Change starts with us. If we all shy away from these activities, I mean, who then is going to do it? At some point, somebody must do it. And we have chosen this noble cause. And we are hoping that our fellow young Cameroonians will adhere to this call, you know, get themselves on the electoral list. And of course, let's hope that things change for the better.
Courage to you and your team, and hopefully we get the change we desire. Now, before we go, Omolangale Maene, what message do you have for your Cameroonians, especially the young ones, less than 24 hours to the end of registration?
Cameroonians, if you are not yet registered, please get to any Elecam office, get yourself registered. And when the time comes, of course, make your choice. Choose the leaders that you think will better govern you. Let's avoid the ABC syndrome, you know, the accuse, blame, and complain syndrome. It is time for a change, and the change can only come through the ballot box. For us, if you are in Boya or its environs, please, tomorrow, Friday, we'll be in Bova village to get people registered. Please kindly follow us, get yourself registered, and like I always say, when the time comes, make your choice of the leaders you want. And I'll repeat what Plato says. The price you pay for not getting involved in public affairs is that you're going to be ruled by evil men. I'm not sure we want to be ruled by evil men. We want good leaders that understand our plight, that know the challenges that we go through, and they are ready and able to change things for the better. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Molangale Maene, for accepting to be our guest on Talking Point tonight. And courage to you. And tomorrow is the last day. Elecam would open its doors tomorrow until 2 p.m. So if you have not registered, go and get your name registered on the electoral list wherever you find yourself in the world. Viewers, thank you so much for always being with us. And don't go away, our programs continue. Equinoxe in about 30 minutes live from Douala with Serge Alongo 2, and the news in the French language comes up at 8 p.m. with Julien Beth Bissai. Stay with us on Equinoxe Television and have a blessed weekend. Bye-bye for now.